Kia ora and welcome to Divine Appointment. I'm Hannah Seddon and I'm so glad you're here. I believe God is still orchestrating divine appointments every single day. And my prayer is that every story I share will inspire you, strengthen your faith, and help you to see His presence in your life. So let's see where today's story takes us. She's watching this, and what can she do as a mother? What can she do as she watches everything fall apart? As a woman of faith, she did exactly what you are meant to do. She prayed. And not only did she pray, she pulled everybody in from the highways and the byways to pray for me. This woman feels totally powerless, but she decides, well, I'm going to do what I know to do, what the Bible says to do, which is pray without ceasing. And so she commandeered everyone that had a faith to come and pray with her for my life. And I believe I'm living today out of the prayers that were prayed for me when I was a kid, a little kid, when I was a teenager, when I was reckless and wild and all kinds of things. My mum pulled in so many people to pray for me. And I want to encourage everybody who's got a child, who's got someone in their life, could be a brother, sister, whoever. Don't think your prayers don't count. They matter so much, even if you don't feel them in the moment, even if they take some time for them to be answered. Pray, 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 pray. My mother prayed, and she also gave me over to the Lord. She said, look, I only have so much power, Lord, but I give you my daughter. I dedicate my daughter to you. I give you Hannah, and I ask you to do what you want to do in her life. I ask you to protect her. I ask you to look after her. I ask you to bring her heart back to you. Remind her who she is. Show her who she is. My mother was a woman who was passionate about praying for me, and I am so grateful to her for that. When I was 18, this is not exactly what she had intended for me, but it did actually help me settle down for a minute. I had my first son. I had my first son when I was 18, and I won't go into the details of all of that and how that came about, but the fact that I even had him, kept him, that he grew up with me is another whole story. I'm so grateful for him. He's nearly 30 years old now. He's so handsome and so intelligent and such a blessing from the Lord. And I almost didn't get to raise him, but I did. Praise God. And with the help of my mother and my friends, my community, they helped me raise him. By the time my first son was 2, I had started a new relationship. Of course, I hadn't been married at all, you know. In fact, I haven't been married to this day. But I started a new relationship when my son was about 2. And, I was pretty excited. I thought, yay, there's hope for this. This is good. And I became pregnant and had my second son at the age of 21, only to discover that relationship was not actually what I thought it was. And so I was the other woman. What? I did not know that. And so I have the second child, and he is so beautiful. He's so beautiful. But before he even came into the world, I had to make a decision about whether he would even come into the world. And my whole life, I'd grown up believing, certain things, and they're easy to believe when you're not in that situation. It's easy not to have an abortion. It's easy not to adopt a child out. It's easy to make decisions on someone else's situation. But when you're the one in it, it's a whole different matter. And here I was, 20, 21, and now I'm pregnant again. And I'm pregnant to a man that I thought that I was going to be able to build a life with or something. And now I'm going to be by myself again. And I feel all of these feelings of just stress, anxiety, shame. What have I done? Now I'm, this poor child. Like, how could you want to have me for a mother? Both of these children, how could you want to have me for a mother? Like, I know it doesn't sound like much to some of you. Some of you are like, what's the big deal? Well, trust me, if you came from where I came from, it's a big deal. It's a whole deal. This was not the plan. And so for the first time in my life, I contemplated whether or not I would keep this baby. And now that's even hard to say. It's hard to say that. It's hard. I remember sitting there making the decision. I made the appointment. I'd made plans to go into the clinic. But there was something in me that was just crying out in desperation. Reconsider. There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. So I remember just thinking, God, if there's a way, can you help me find a way? If there's a way to do this, can you please help me to find a way? Because this does not sit okay with me. I was raised knowing the truth, and the truth is I don't have the right to take the life of another, even if that other is a tiny little, tiny speck, a tiny dot in my womb. That's not for me to do, to cover up a story that I don't want people to know. And in that moment, I knew I had a choice to make. And that choice meant that, yeah, it was going to be a bit harder, a whole lot harder. And I was going to have a whole bunch of questions that I didn't know the answer to. And I was going to have to raise this child and answer some of his questions like, where is my father? Why is he not here? And I already had that with the first one. So now we've got a second one. Like, I was really good at maths in school, and this maths ain't mathing. And so I'm sitting there and I'm on the eve of a big decision. I have more of an understanding than some about how close I was to making that decision, and I have grace for those who've been through that whole experience and come to a different decision. And I pray the grace of God and the healing of God over you in that, and ask for his restoration. I was so close. And somehow on that day I heard this other voice saying, you can do this. You can do this. You can find a way through. You can find a way through. And so I went and I spoke to my mother, and I'm so grateful for her. And I know so many people just don't have that in their lives. But my mum said, oh my gosh, what the heck? And then closely followed by, all right, it's okay. We can do this. You know, how many of us just need someone to say, okay, well, this ain't ideal. The situation ain't ideal. The baby, beautiful. The situation ain't ideal, but I got you. Let's do this. We can do this. I just needed someone to be on my side for me to be able to be brave. And I am so glad that is my son, my youngest son, who's now 27 years old, and he is a father to the most beautiful grandson. I have one grandson, and he's gorgeous, and I'm biased, but he is so beautiful. And so I tiptoe delicately around this conversation to say, life is precious. Protect it. Protect it. Protect it. And also, God is gracious. Go to him. Let him help you to find healing and restoration. Let him bind up your broken heart. Let him flourish you and bless you in ways you never thought was possible. Lean into the grace of God. As a single mother of these two beautiful little boys who are 2.5 years apart from each other, I am trying the best I can to provide for them. You know, I grew up with not very much, and I wanted to give them more than I had. And so the way I tried to do that was I worked hard. I worked long hours, and with the help of my mum and my friends and my family, I raised those boys. I tried to make as much money as I could to put a roof over their head. I tried to make as much money as I could to put a roof over their head, to clothe them, to feed them, to put them in a good school, to live in a nice neighborhood. You know, these were all things that were important to me. I didn't want them to be in a situation where they were kind of meeting people that would get them into mischief, because I'd been in mischief and I knew what happened when you got into trouble. I wanted them to have a good education and good friends, and I wanted them to not have to deal with all the things that I had to deal with. But also I knew that the head start that I'd given them, because already they were in a single parent family and they didn't have relationships with either of their dads. Oh man, I was trying everything I could to provide a good way forward for them. I prayed all the time, Lord, help me to do the best I can with what I've got. It's not much, but I love these kids. I love these boys. And I don't know how you're going to help me, but I know you'll help me to raise them well. So I worked for this company. It was a corporate organization, Telecom. And I really enjoyed it, actually. You know, it's very social and welcome to Telecom. You're speaking with Hannah. How can I help you? And I got to meet all sorts of amazing people and learn all kinds of new skills. And in later years, the job I had required me to fly down to the South Island, all around the South Island, to some of these different companies and help them with their management reporting and things like that. And I mean, that was a pretty good gig because I was only like 25, 26, and I got to fly all around the country, and I had like a work car and a company visa, you know, all these things. Now, as good as that was, right, I had this double life because I'm trying to raise my children. I got them going to a Christian school. Every now and again, I go to church, but then I've got this job in the corporate world, and I'm trying the best that I can, but it doesn't feel like it has any meaning. Like there's something in me that is calling me back to purpose and meaning, and this ain't it. So, as good as the money was, as exciting as the opportunities were, it didn't feel right. And there's only so long that you can go trying to do something when it doesn't feel right, when you know that it's out of the will of God for your life. Now, on top of that, I'm still drinking, I'm still partying, I'm still like the life of the party. I'm still in a whole bunch of situations that I should not be in because I'm still searching for love in all the wrong places. And I still haven't given my life back to the Lord. I still haven't pursued the first love that I ever had. I still haven't, because I still feel like I'm going to get that from somewhere out there. And so I have a series of relationships that inevitably fail. Inevitably, I cannot find love. I do not feel loved. Inevitably, they fall apart. They're just not good for me. And they leave me feeling worse and worse and worse and worse. So I work harder, I drink harder. All the pain that I have that's now accumulated over all of these years, from childhood through my teenage years and now into my late 20s. I have all of this pain. And so what do? I just stay busy, so busy. I just work harder. I just move faster. I just laugh louder. I just drink more. I just turn the music up because I don't want to hear what is going on in my heart. I do not want to hear. No, I don't want to deal with emotions. They don't even make sense and they're too complex. 1 + 1 = 2. Drink, work, raise your children, do the best you can, and tune out everything else. Turn up the sound, turn up the music, turn it up louder over all of that internal dilemma. And then, boy, oh boy, did I have a divine appointment. So I'm not saying God caused this, but it actually worked out really great. So one night I go out and I'm drinking until 4 a.m. And I don't know what the phrase is in your country, but off my face, off my rocker, plastered, whacked out, like so many different varieties of not a good space. And I come home, it's 4 a.m., and I had a babysitter looking after my children. Thank you very much. Goodbye. And they're fast asleep, and I'm not in a great state. And I thought I actually heard someone break into my house. Yeah. And I decided I was going to go downstairs and beat them up. So I make my way down the stairs. By the way, there was no burglar. I make my way down the stairs and I trip on the last step. I mean, there's 100 stairs and I get to the last step and I trip on it. Excuse me? And crack. I hear this crack in my foot. Oh my gosh. And I'm lying on the floor. I'm in so much pain. I'm like, "Wah!" If there was a burglar, I scared him away, or her. And I'm lying on the floor in agony, and the phone to ring someone for help is up those 100 stairs. Yeah, that's right. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." I eventually end up in a cast. You know, my ankle is pretty hammered, and so I end up in a cast. I'm not allowed to work. I can't fly. I can't go on a plane with crutches. It's just not gonna happen. So my work say, "Just take the time." So I end up at home for 8 weeks. It was like COVID before there was COVID. It was lockdown before there was lockdown. I'm locked down for 8 weeks in my house, which I don't really spend that much time in. Hey, 'cause I'm too busy doing things. I'm at work. I'm with friends. I'm at school. I'm over here. I'm out. I'm partying. So here I am stuck, ugh, at home, with myself. Ugh, no, my worst nightmare. So while my kids are at school, I'm stuck in this house for 6 hours by myself. None of my friends are visiting. Interesting. I'm not the life of the party because I'm on crutches. I'm stuck. I feel so limited and so broken, and all these emotions begin to pour out of me, up and out. They begin to pour up and out of me, and for the first time, I'm alone with my thoughts, and it's a terrifying place to be if you haven't heard your thoughts for a while. If you haven't let your heart speak, if you haven't let your body speak, dang. It's my body speaks, my mind speaks, my heart speaks, and I just want to cover my ears and run, but you can't run. So I'm just devastated. As the weeks go by, I am more and more aware of how disconnected I am and how unaligned I am from God's plan and His purpose for my life. That little 11-year-old girl was so excited about what was possible, what was going to happen. Yay! I'm going to go to the world for Jesus, tell them about His love. And that's not at all how I was living. I wasn't even I wasn't even talking to Jesus. I hadn't talked to Jesus for a long time. No way. Why? Because I felt so unworthy and so ashamed. I didn't want to talk to Jesus. I wanted to talk to everybody else who was the opposite of holy. Get those people around me. Yeah, and then I'd feel good about myself. But Jesus, no. No, because He deserved to be around people who actually lived in alignment with love, who lived good lives, that's what I thought. I thought, Jesus, you deserve to be around people who are actually good. I'm not good. I'm not good enough. I'm such a mess. You don't want to talk to me. I don't care how loving you are. You deserve to be around better people, not me. I'm going to go clean up my act and then come back to you. That's what I'd figured out the plan. I'm going to go get myself cleaned up, get myself organized, get myself figured out. And then when I was living kind of like good, then I would come and talk to Jesus. And that went on for years and years and years and didn't happen. Years and years and years and didn't happen. Why? Because I didn't have the strength. Willpower is not enough. Sheer willpower is not enough. There's no strength in that. It only lasts for a little while and then you're back to square one because you need something far more powerful than you to help you get through, to overcome the things that you're facing. And I'd proven day after day after day after month after year, I didn't have enough power to overcome the things that I was facing, the enemies that were coming at me, the lies that invaded my mind. I needed something far more powerful. I needed Jesus in a different way from the way that 11-year-old girl needed Jesus. As a 27-year-old, I needed Jesus. So there was a mixture of, I don't want to bring this rubbish to you. I feel so embarrassed and ashamed, Lord. Then there was also pride, like, no, surely I can fix this, right? There's all these things going on. And over these weeks at home, I have nothing to do but think, commiserate. And I get to this place finally where I decide I'm going to pray for the first time in like ages. It wasn't like the most earth-shattering prayer. It was just simple. Some of us think we've got to come up with some fancy multi-syllabic, multi-Bible referencing prayer. Just open your heart and talk. When my kids were 2 and they're babbling all kinds of things, I'm just grateful they're talking to me. Like your Father wants to hear from you. He doesn't care how fancy your prayer is. No. He's like, yay! Jesus is just waiting for you to talk to Him. The Holy Spirit is just waiting for you to call on Him. God's just waiting for you. As you are, you don't have to get cleaned up and come to Him. Just turn up as you are now. So finally, with this broken ankle and this heavy, heavy, broken heart, I get it. I'm just going to turn up as I am. So I pray for the first time in a long time. God, I am such a mess. This is not the life that you planned for me. I'm sure of it. I'm so sorry that I didn't do what I said I was going to do. And I've just created havoc and pain for so many people, including myself. And I've allowed people to come into my life that have caused pain and havoc. And I've tried so many different ways to get out of this. I've tried everything I know. The only thing I haven't tried is coming back to you. I need help. I need your help. I remember the Bible says a whole bunch of stuff about, like, if we will come to you and just make things right, say sorry for what we've done wrong, if we will come and ask for your grace and your help, that you'll help us and that you'll take us out of, like, I remember that psalm. It was about like a miry clay. You'll take us out of the clay. You take us out of that stuck place like the quicksand or the mud. You take us out of there and you'll put our feet upon a rock. So I'm asking you, I'm dirty from standing so much in the miry clay. I'm a mess. I'm a whole mess. But I'm asking if you would do that for me, please. I don't even deserve it, but I'm asking if you would do that for me, please. Please put my feet on a rock, because I don't know how to climb up there by myself. I don't know how to get up there. Every time I try to climb, I fall down. And it's not just for me, God, it's for my children. They didn't even ask for this. They didn't ask to be in this situation. And every day it gets worse. I don't know how to get on that rock. Please help me. Please, please, please help me get out of this. Please, God. I don't deserve it, but I'm asking for it anyway. And I prayed that prayer with as much honesty and as much truth as I could on that day. January 2004. I prayed that prayer with all of my heart, all of my broken heart. Super hopeful from the darkest place I'd ever been in at that point. And then I waited and I waited. And that's when the next divine appointment happened. Thank you for joining me today, and may the Lord bless you and guide you into the next divine appointment. Hei kona, I'll see you next time.